It's getting a little sensual with the mic. So, before the start of our Rage Quit episode, I would like to tell a little bit about Rage Quit's sponsor. So, welcome to another episode of Rage Quit, the husband and wife duo that discusses video games every week. Rage Quit is sponsored by AFK Clothing Co. Are you a gamer? Do you enjoy games? Then check out AFK Clothing Co. for all of your gaming apparel needs. As I record this, I am sporting an AFK green sleeve baseball tee that I absolutely love and wear every week. We'd never be sponsored by something we didn't like. And if you'd like to support the show, head on over to AFK Clothing Co., link in the description below, and type ASI in the promo code box to get 10% off your next order. As always, just follow the bear. And now on to the show.
That was very fast.
Yeah.
Exactly. For your ear exploratory needs. Now you're deaf.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Rage Quit. Just keep going.
I should just loop that sound for an hour, and then that'll be it. And then we'll start at hour 2.
Like, that's what people be.
I wonder, like, how long. I would love to look at the analytics for that and see, like, how long we kept people. Because you can usually do, like,
April Fools.
Listen duration kind of a thing. You know, if they listen, like, 3 minutes in, 5 minutes in, a half hour in, or whatever. I would love to see that.
April Fools.
It's like, they were really sorry. I feel bad for the people who made it, like, 50 minutes. Came back to it, maybe. Or, like, fuck this, there's nothing here. Like, and then just, like, walked away, and then it was, like, at, you know, an hour and a minute.
Yeah.
Then the episode starts. God damn it, I hate these people.
It keeps going, but their podcasts are so good to listen to. Blowing smoke up my own ass. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right. Whom are you?
I'm Anthony Schultz.
I'm Ariel Schultz.
Pretty sure we forgot to do that last time.
I swear we do. Yeah, we probably did not do that. It's just like we get to talking and it's like, oh, fuck, did you introduce ourselves? They know whom we are, but...
Yeah, I mean, if you're like all the way into episode 25,
yeah,
you
know who we are.
know.
But then again, if you jump into episode 25, it's like, well, who the fuck?
Yeah,
are
it's like
people?
the newest episode,
yeah.
I guess. Some people start with the newest one and they kind of work their way back if they like it. So
Yeah.
then you get confused, I guess. Then, but
Uh-oh.
Oh god.
It heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, kind sir. What are we talking about today?
Today we're going to be talking about Hideo Kojima of Kojima Productions. Not Animal Crossing.
I've been playing a lot of that game lately.
Konami and Silent Hill.
You're Silent Hill.
No. Maybe a loud hillock.
Oh, yeah.
I like the word hillock. We don't use that a lot.
Okay, Aardvark. Keep going.
Aardvark.
I don't know. It sounds like a fun word to say.
Aardvark. Like hillock.
Yep. Aardvark.
I used some great words in my review, which is I thought I just loved. I was like, it's a $10 word day. Because I'm sure if I had written it on a different day, it wouldn't have been that.
It would have been 50 cent day.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, or it could have been $25 word day. I don't know.
There's more than. Oh God, I don't want to know what those 25. You throw those out there every now and then to me, and I'm like, fuck you.
Oh, I've like over the 31 years that I've been alive, I've heard that a lot. Where it's like every once in a while, like how do you use that common speech, and you just like walk through it like it's nothing. Like
Yep.
I've heard that. Even how I said it wouldn't be phrased that way, but still, I've heard people comment about my speech and
what the fuck is
say that
word?
before, where they're like, nobody uses that. Like it's like, well, that's the word that applies to
like
what I was
error
trying to
or
convey.
error.
Oh, the verb.
Yeah.
The verb of error.
And then pretty much I just told you to fuck off.
Well, yeah, because you got flustered because you were like, you made a spelling mistake.
Frustrating me, okay?
You're like, you made a spelling mistake. And I was like, no, I didn't. I was like,
Yes,
it's
you
the
did.
verb.
He spelled it wrong, folks. Don't believe him.
I didn't.
I bet you 90% of people were like, that's not how you spell that word.
Yeah, that is like
That's a $10, $15 word. People know the $1 word version of it.
error.
Yep.
Even though error is like shorter.
Yep.
It's only 3 characters.
I feel like all of our people are rolling their eyes right now at you. Just FYI.
Maybe they're rolling their eyes at you. They're like, everybody knows this.
Nope. I'm on the more commonality there.
No, it is like most people,
Pump his
especially like Americans,
Merkins.
like when you say like error on the side of caution, they think it's error, but it's actually error, like how I wrote it in my review.
ERR for those who don't know, not the word air, AIR.
Yeah, exactly. but it's
pronunciation is very similar. We'll clarify
well,
that
yeah,
now.
they're homonyms, but
you're a homonym. You know what, Captain?
I knew I was gonna get shit for that, dude.
You're
homonyms, okay? I don't want to
See, this is what I mean. This is what I live with, folks. He does this shit to me all the time. I portmanteau it. Then he makes fun of me because those words don't make sense together, but they do.
They do. Portmanteau is like very clever. Like it's very hard for people to do that naturally, which you do naturally. So it's a sign of like high intelligence. So.
More along the ways of I get frustrated, frustrated.
Exactly, which works because you can't.
Munami. That one didn't work.
That one doesn't work though. Yeah, because those are vastly two different weather patterns.
But they both have a lot of water.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean, yeah, storms, I guess it's true. Yeah, monsoon does have a lot of rain, and tsunamis is a
lot of water.
Wave of water. So I suppose
it was a wave of water, and it was a storm. It made sense.
Yeah, I mean, one's yeah.
Shut up.
I can't. I mean, I guess it could happen because you have like a warm tropical season where, like, especially in an area that experiences monsoons, like India.
Yeah.
And then if there was like an earthquake off the coast, it could cause a tsunami. So it'd be like really rare, but it could happen.
See? And it happened when we were driving the car.
In Spokane, Washington.
A giant splash of water over our car. Munami!
Yeah, we're landlocked between two mountain ranges. Munami! At most it rains.
It's a Saurus all over again. Shut up.
Occasionally. I mean, that's true. I'm all is a store of stores.
I don't remember if we talked about that or not.
I don't know. That was a funny one, though.
Yeah.
We have talked about the Portland trip a few times now.
What do you want to reiterate the stores?
So we brought it up before, but we took a really like big vacation to Portland to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and that's where we went to the barcade and all that stuff, which we've talked about before.
Yeah. I talked about all that shit.
Well, we had an off day though, and it was really rainy, and we pretty much walked everywhere, anyways. Yeah, it's Portland, Oregon, so. And so we went to the mall there to catch a movie. Since we didn't have anything really planned.
We saw Skull Island.
We did, yeah. We saw Kong Skull Island.
We did two features or just one?
Just the one.
Oh, okay.
Because Skull Island had just come out. We had kind of seen like everything. That's when we were like really. That's before we had kids. So. Yeah.
Every parents before we had kids, we did see.
Yeah, we saw like every movie that came out that we wanted to see in theaters, and then we bought it afterwards. Now we don't do that. We hardly ever go to the theaters because you just can't. Because otherwise you're gonna have a screaming toddler or a bored toddler.
To be fair, Ollie did sleep through the entire Venom movie.
He did. He was really little, though.
I mean, his ass was just out.
He was only like 6 months old. So.
Yeah, but he was just... Most kids would scream at giant fucking booms and explosions and Venom running around.
I don't think he was terribly aware.
He's not terribly aware now. Anyways.
He's more aware now. But anyways, we walked into the mall there, which is like right in downtown Portland, to go see this movie and look at the mall and stuff. And Ariel's like looking around because it's a really big mall, especially compared to the one we have in Spokane.
But the fact that it's pretty is really well.
And it is really pretty, yeah. And there's like it's like 2 towers connected by an underground like walkway, and they kind of spiral up. And the theaters are on like the top of one of the towers, which is cool. And it's all glass and there's plants everywhere and stuff. It is really cool. And she's like, "What is this? Is this a store of stores?" And I pause while I process what I just heard. And I'm like, "You mean a mall?"
And I'm like, "Oh, I'm never going to live this down." Folks, that was 4 years ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
It's a store of stores.
It was pretty funny, though. A store of stores. Another portmanteau.
You're a portmanteau.
You're a homonym.
Okay, Captain Caveman. I think we got sidetracked. What are we talking about now?
We're talking about...
I think you said Hideo Kojima, and then we sidetracked.
We did, yeah. Hideo Kojima, Konami, and Silent Hill. Kind of how they all relate to one another.
Hill.
What?
Because I called you Silent Hill.
Yeah. How they all relate to one another, and some of the rumors that have been kind of circulating, especially around Sony, Kojima Productions, and the Silent Hill franchise or IP. So I think we'll probably kind of start at the top with
the very beginning.
Hideo Kojima's exit from Konami.
Yeah, that was very abrupt, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think it was there was definitely rumblings for a long time that there was like bad blood there. But yeah, for somebody who worked for a company for 30 years, and Konami's very aged kind of brand name in the gaming industry, to kind of dump him and ostensibly stop making games altogether is kind of crazy.
Well, then the fact that I made one of the Metal Gears without him, too.
Yeah, which I don't think
really
received very well, and yeah, it was really... It's weird to have a Metal Gear game.
Horror game.
I mean, there is another Metal Gear game that was made while Hideo Kojima
I remember that one, because
with
it's
Konami.
the Insane Asylum and the weird unicorn people keep running out.
That was Phantom Pain. That was 5. That was the last one, because I got that for free from the PlayStation Plus, and I played a little bit of it, because I had played the prologue. Hideo Kojima did that one.
Okay, now I'm thinking of a different... Never mind. I'm thinking of someone else.
I don't think I ever really brought up the Metal Gear... I think Survival is what it's called, but it's like you get sucked into like another world or a parallel universe, and then it's like a survival horror game.
Which is like, just make a survival horror game.
Yeah, it seems really weird. Like, yeah, I agree. It seems unnecessary to like apply the Metal Gear branding to it. Like I feel like Konami just could have made a survival horror game.
This is my one Blythe, and everyone knows this is the Zelda game. Just make a fucking
Blythe and Plight. That's
God
good.
Damn it.
And you would never use the word Blythe, which is really funny. Plight, maybe. I could see that. But Blythe, that's a good one.
Well, it's combined now.
And I'm the one with the $10 words.
Mine aren't necessarily $10 words.
Blythe?
They're 2 words connected.
You connected a $10 word to another like $5 word at the end.
15, yo. That's what I do best. I bring the money in. With my Zelda game, god damn it, shut up. Just make an open world RPG. Don't put Zelda's name on it, and then
oh yeah, that genre
Switch,
mashup with
a name with a
like
style.
a big IP or a big like canonical franchise. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like just because you want sales because it's so popular, don't fucking stick it in something that it's not.
Yeah, and I don't know if
don't stick it in the Batcave.
What happens there? I don't. I don't.
Hello.
I just laid an egg. They did another one that was Metal Gear Rising, which was like a more fast-paced action game a la God of War or Devil May Cry ish. That was just with Raiden or Raiden, depending on how you pronounce it. And Platinum Games did it, who's kind of known for that genre anyways. That game was really well done and wasn't helmed by Hideo Kojima.
But when you're tossing something like Metal Gear Solid or Metal Gear...
I feel like a fast-paced action game is closer to Metal Gear Solid, like stealth action.
A horror game.
Yeah, survival horror nonetheless.
Yeah, it's like...
a little obtuse. Even for the zaniness of the Metal Gear franchise.
Well, even the zaniness of Hideo Kojima, like, you know.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely an interesting guy. Like, and has
see why him and Guillermo del Toro, and...
Guillermo del Toro, yeah.
Because I can say it right. And Norman Reedus. I think maybe my brain just shut off. Are like best friends. Because Norman Reedus is big in...
You reset.
I almost backhanded you. Norman Reedus is known for You didn't reset it. You just fucked it up more. The Walking Dead and zombies and horror movies and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, and Norman Reedus seems kind of like an interesting cat, too, as far as, like, what roles he picks and what he likes to do and, you know, how he speaks in interviews and stuff. So, yeah, they are kind of like an unusual...
trio.
Like, a holy trinity.
A Spaniard, an Asian, and then a white guy.
Yeah, so you have like a Japanese guy, a Spaniard, and an American. Like almost kind of like the epitome of like a Southern American too. I'm not quite sure where Norman Reedus is from,
like, located. I'll take a look.
It is interesting though.
Origins of where does Norman Reedus come from?
North, from beyond the wall.
Hollywood.
Oh, interesting.
He's from Florida.
Oh, Florida. Okay, so south, like I said.
Florida. He lives in New York, though, now. My son, Magnus Lucien Reedus.
What a great name.
That is a stunning name.
That is a really good name.
I like that name.
I do, too.
I think I was like... So he's been in, let's see... Deuce Wild. He was in Mimic. Oh, the 1997 Mimic? Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep.
6 Ways to Sunday, Deuce Wild, Blade 2, Gossip, 8mm, American Gangster, Heroes Wanted. All sorts of shit, yeah.
No, he's in some really interesting roles, and the three of them really do kind of form, like, an unusual, like, trinity.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
but they seem to have, like, both kind of find a fascination in, like, the weird or just, like, obtuse ideas or, like, visual aesthetics or more philosophical kind of ideals and stuff. Like, one just translates as an actor, one translates as a filmmaker, and one translates as like a game director.
Yeah.
But as far as like
that's
their
like
creative
genres too, right there.
vision, they seem to share a lot. Those three kind of Venn diagrams like really overlap. So at least creatively. So
yeah, well, and what's like we're saying though, it's like just for me backtracking here, I do feel like it was very sudden that Guillermo del Toro. Damn it. Hideo Kojima. Names left.
Japanese one, Spanish one.
White guy with a weird name. Norman. Like, it reminds me of
Norman.
damn
My Dachshund Norman?
Little pudgy.
Stormin' Norman. That's what he was named after.
Long-haired dachshund that
the
used to
general
skateboard.
Stormin' Norman.
Little pudgy muffin. Now I lost my train of thought. The hamster fell off the
You
wall.
were just talking about how it does seem very sudden that Hideo Kojima
had
broke
left,
from Konami.
and it's like, for granted they may have had some bad blood, but like you actually found an interesting article about it though.
Yeah, there was a lot of like press swirling around for the longest time. Both of them, which is kind of weird. Like at the time, especially looking back now, like Hideo Kojima seemed to be working like autonomously, like he was speaking on his behalf, which makes sense. But it was against or to like squash rumors or kind of double speak about Konami, but he was working for Konami.
Yeah.
So you think he would be a voice of the company he works for, especially after working it for 3 decades?
Yeah, seriously.
But instead it was pretty much like them versus him. But
but
he
not.
worked for them still technically. So things were obviously kind of starting to fall apart for a long while. But to have such a heavy hitter in the video game industry to leave after such an illustrious career with one company that used to be really well renowned in video. I mean, they did Silent Hill, they did Castlevania, Metal Gear Solid. Like they have released like great IPs that are all very aged and for the most part very successful. And just to be done is kind of crazy, and it does come kind of sudden because it is like even if there was bad blood for a year, it's 1 year against 30.
Yeah, it's very hush hush. If anything, a lot of it was swept under the rug or just not really talked about. And then it's like, I remember when we first got together, and you showed me the playable teaser of Silent Hill.
Yeah, because I still had it on my PS3 at the time, which you can't get anymore, which is kind of crazy. Because I knew you liked horror games and horror movies specifically.
More along horror movies because we just.
But I thought you would like it because it would be scary.
Yeah, because we had just gotten together, so it's like I like horror movies. I also like just be dumb horror movies too, but scary movies nonetheless. And you're like, this. I think we just watched American Horror Story, the one with Ryan Reynolds in it, together, and it kind of reminisces on that. The Silent Hill
Ryan
one.
Reynolds in American Horror Story?
Shit, wrong thing. No. The one with the house that's evil. God damn it. You make me second guess myself. 1 second. Let me look.
Are you talking about like Crimson Peak or something?
No.
I'm unsure.
Keep talking.
Because it's like the guy that was in the first season of American Horror Story was the lead in Stargate Atlantis.
Not the TV shows American Horror Story. A second. I gotta look at it.
All the things.
I hate you. Amityville Horror.
Oh, Amityville Horror. Yeah,
It's
that
a horror
has...
story. But Amityville Horror. Where we just watched Amityville Horror.
Yeah,
I think it came out.
And PT does, it's Norman Reedus, and he's inside a house. Like, it's just one floor of a house that repeats in different ways.
And puzzles and stuff. And it's not that it was similar to the Amityville Horror, but it was like one of the murders was Amityville Horror. It wasn't
yeah.
And so that's what kind of
similar, yeah.
Very similar. It's like, how we got tracked into that, and then when you showed it to me, like, oh, this is cool, and when's it going to come out? And then that was before they announced they weren't coming together.
Yeah, and so that was really like kind of the last kind of big hurrah. It's like Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain was coming out, and then it's seemingly out of left field. PT came out, nobody really knew what it was, and people played through it, and it was super scary, and then it was difficult to finish as well. But once you finished it, it was a Norman Reedus was shown, and it was a Silent Hills, is what they called it, plural. It was going to be like a reboot of Silent Hill.
Which is
cool. So everyone like lost their mind about it, which was really cool. And then it was like shortly afterwards or during that process that they dissolved their relationship, and then Guillermo del Toro, Norman Reedus, and Hideo Kojima said that it was, and I believe Konami, that it was effectively canceled.
Yeah.
And that it was done.
And it's like, which sucks, because that game looked freaking awesome. It's like, I think everyone's disappointed because it was awesome, and then kind of stemmed into, obviously I don't know the timeline of things, where Hideo Kojima left and then started up.
It was all about the same time, to be honest. Yeah, as far as him leaving and PT and Silent Hills and Phantom Pain. And within then, like the same year and a half
because I think, wasn't he still working for them when they put out Phantom Pain? And they said you weren't going to do it?
Yeah, he said that he was going to his fans, because they're diehard Kojima fans.
Yeah.
Probably just in the same way that I'm huge, like, Cory Barlog fan and things like that. But, that he would be there to finish,
that game.
His vision of Phantom Pain. Konami pretty much just said that, he would be there, but Kojima Productions, especially upper management, which, he was head of in-house underneath Konami, were just working on a contractual basis.
Yeah.
And that once they were done with him, it was like that December, that they no longer worked for Konami anymore, and Kojima Productions would kind of cease to be.
Yeah, they actually essentially closed down their production company.
Yeah, they said they were like restructuring like all of the company kind of.
Yeah, because didn't he essentially announce Death Stranding?
He was done by that point, so there had been kind of that official break, and a relationship formed between, and he had already obviously had a relationship just being in game development, working with Sony.
Yeah.
And so Sony and him brokered a deal, and Kojima Productions was reestablished, and then under the promise of a PlayStation exclusive, which was Death Stranding, which just released this last year. It was like
which is
November
funny because
2019.
Yeah, which is funny because like when you look into the story of it with like the Death Stranding, they actually borrowed from.
They borrowed from a few places. So like as Kojima was setting up Kojima Productions again, he had visited Media Molecule years prior. And Media Molecule is known for Dreams, which just came out, as well as the first two installments of Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
And Sackboy and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So a lot of like content creator tools for games. It's kind of what they're known for. And they're a Sony first party studio. And so he liked how they operated as far as a small studio is concerned. And so he somewhat mimicked his new business structure. His reestablished Kojima Productions off of them. And then, with Death Stranding in particular, in order to get it out on time,
bust it out,
be timely, Guerrilla Games, who is most notable for Killzone and Horizon Zero Dawn, they had come up with an engine in-house called the Decima engine, which they use for...
That's such a badass name. Decima engine.
Oh, it totally is, yeah. And they used it for Horizon Zero Dawn and Killzone Shadowfall. They loaned the engine to Hideo Kojima, so Death Stranding is built upon that engine as well.
Which is legit.
And also some personnel to...
Bust it out, because they had like a contract. They had like a year to make it?
It was only like a couple years, like 2 or 3 years at
Which
most.
is very short for a video game.
Usually it's like, especially nowadays, and first party kind of like quality, especially through Sony. I mean, you're looking at like 4 or 5 years.
Well, you think about the quality of it too, where they have some big fucking names in that game. Like, not besides Norman Reedus, they have the one
Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen, who won an Oscar for it. Which is surprising that Norman
Not
Reedus
an Oscar, but a Game Award. Yeah.
Whatever, Game Award.
Yeah.
Some type of award, but yes, a game award for his role in that, and I'm surprised Norman Reedus didn't. But if you're here to Canada, we haven't played that game yet, so
yeah, we haven't gone through it. I will eventually do most likely a YouTube series of it. I think it would be a little dry to stream live, but I might do like some montages or missions or something, or maybe just a shorter YouTube stream.
Yeah, but
regardless, there will be some sort of ASInquisitor Death Stranding content at some point.
Which is insane to see, and it's like big names in it, and then, the live action, essentially what we talked about before, movie essence in it.
Which has always been Kojima's kind of style, like very cinematic, like really long cutscenes in Metal Gear games.
Yeah.
Which some people like really enjoy, other people
some
like
people
absolutely
don't.
hate because you're watching like a 45-minute cutscene. But I personally enjoy the.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, you're playing a game to get out of the real world. Why not watch a 45-minute cutscene? It's like, it gives your brain a refresher, and then you're back at it.
Yeah, and it's like fast paced to a degree, I guess, but more always like my favorite at least. More like stealth action or like surviving and things like that. So it's not a terribly fast-paced game, and yeah, you're absolutely right. And then it's broken up by like these mini movies that are super stylish with all the characters.
Well, yeah,
I always
like,
enjoyed them.
With the games, like you said, they're very long periods where you're doing a lot of shit at once, and then when it is time to,
I mean, like if I was playing Doom Eternal and then it had a 45-minute cutscene, I'd probably be like, eh. But if it's like an RPG or a
Doom put in a 45-minute movie, how would you even?
I don't know. I'm sure there's some harebrained like
I like the Doom
writer
guy
or
and the fact that you possess a dude. That's kind of cool. That's new.
Oh, a Revenant? Yeah, you possess the Revenant to get your super shotgun back. I also, this is an aside, I streamed Doom Eternal this morning on Twitch, and I'm going to tomorrow morning as well, but Twitch Prime will offer you like in-game rewards, and so we're an Amazon Prime member, and Amazon owns Twitch, so we get the game rewards. Half the time there's stuff I don't really play. It's like League of Legends rewards or Rainbow Six Siege or stuff like that. I'm like, I don't play those games, so I don't get a chance to capitalize on any of the rewards. Well, they had a Doom Eternal one. Woohoo! They have some Fallout 76 ones, which have been good, but the Doom Eternal one,
a double XP weekend too, by the way.
I know, was the Doomacorn Slayer outfit, and he's white and pink with wings.
That is the best ever.
And it's rendered into all the cutscenes though.
Oh.
It isn't like it reverts back to his normal like green Slayer like armor. It's like in the cutscenes and everything. So he's like super serious and doing badass shit and like decapitating people or threatening whatever demon. And then he's like all in white with like pink wings. And then there was one where he talked to the like Ghost King of the Sentinels.
Did he really talk? Did Doom really say anything?
He didn't say anything.
I mean, Doom never said
the
anything.
King was talking to him, and the Doomslayer is like kneeled down in this scene, and then there's like sparkles coming out of his like frag grenade thing. I was like, this is great. This is fantastic. I wouldn't play like that on my own, but for streaming, it's kind of funny.
yeah, which is great.
It was really good.
That was a complete side note. Anyways, which was just insane. I feel like for me, there's no wind in here. Light it. Are you in difficulties?
I have no idea what's going on. Talk to my lighter about that.
Your brain break?
No.
Why is it always in my face? I'm gonna punch you.
I reset you.
Reset me too much.
Because I don't reset you like the cat.
I will kill you. Flick me in the face. Where it was, sudden that they broke apart, Hideo Kojima and Konami, and the fact that after that they were pretty much partnered up with Sony. I'm pretty sure there's probably like sneaky stuff under the works. And then Sony footed the bill, the money. So that's where Sony came from. Sony footed the bill and gave him the engine of one of their other top
first party
studios. No brain nowhere on that today. First party studios, engine, and then staff alone. And then money, and said, here's all this moolah, make it, it's ours, though. But it's yours, but it's ours.
Yeah, exactly.
And then after this, have fun doing what you want to do. You're not contractually obligated to us.
Yeah, they're a second-party studio for Sony, but they're not underneath the Sony umbrella. I think the most important part, though, that you hit on, which you kind of alluded to, is I think Sony would be wise to buy them. Outright, and have Kojima Productions be a first-party studio in the Sony stable. Sony stable is already crazy.
I know, right? I feel like it's kind of cool though that they have this much faith in him, and that they gave him the money to do all this, and they said, you're just contractually obligated for this game essentially that year or how many years it is.
Yeah.
And then you could either. They probably talked about this. I'm just hypothesizing.
Yeah, I'm sure there was behind closed door talks.
About let us buy you, or if you wanted to, go on your own and see what happens. And our door is always open, so we can, merge together, and you'll be under our Sony.
And Sony's always been pretty good about. They haven't actually bought very many studios.
No, they always have games, and then
their entire
and then their first party ones,
they
have badass games, so they don't have much to worry about.
No, but it's always good to plan for the future and make sure that you always have talent or different first party exclusives coming out. I think it would be a wise investment. Like they just bought Insomniac Studios last year, which I think was an awesome purchasing decision.
Yeah.
As far as they hadn't purchased them before, to be honest.
Like I said, they kind of let them do their own thing, let them float, and then once they feel like they're going to go under or not.
And I think that's kind of what they do. If they let them on their own to prove themselves to Sony, and then it's like, is it actually a worthy investment? Well, you've actually come out with 2 or 3 titles, whether just on Sony or just on other
Microsoft
platforms,
or whatever.
That have done really well, and it's something that we advocate for, or something that we want in house, and then
they'll buy it.
Then there's the consideration to purchase. So,
and I feel like that's a smart move in its own right, where you're thinking, where you feel like
you're testing before you're driving it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Where it's like they're the people, the individuals, probably. Yeah, right. Where they feel like they're being these cool guys, they're letting us do our own thing, and I would honestly like to keep a relationship with them instead of being like, Konami, where it's just like, no, you've been with us for 30 years, and fuck yourself.
Yeah, and Konami had done that before. They did it to the ex-head of like the Castlevania franchise, and that's how we get Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Yeah,
which was a Kickstarted game. Same thing happened to the creator of Mega Man. Like Konami fucked him over too. Those 2 guys left before. Like Iga left, and I can't remember the guy who created Mega Man, but left as well. And then he kickstarted Mighty Number 9, which was a Mega Man clone. Konami has had a history of just pretty much driving away in the last 5 years, 10 years maybe, probably about closer to 10 years, just driving away all of their talent.
And it's
guys
weird.
Who have cemented their legacy in the gaming industry,
which
and
is
just
weird.
Kind of chased them off.
Why? Why would you do that?
I don't know. I mean, they have divested a lot of their game interests. Period. Konami has. They have kept their IPs like Castlevania and Silent Hill.
Yeah.
But they just focus seemingly so on pachinko machines.
Pachinko.
That's really all they seem to be worried about, is that kind of pachinko machine cash grab rather than game development.
And that's a weird ass turn of events. You're like, oh, we got these cool games, Metal Gear Solid.
They also have exercise equipment and stuff too that they still do. Yeah, they do weird shit.
You said they're in video games are weird.
I imagine Naughty Dog in California, one of Sony's first party studios, yeah, they make Uncharted and Last of Us, but, they also make handcrafted wooden furniture on the side. It would be really weird. It doesn't make any sense.
Where are the Animal Crossing now? We're making furniture.
I don't know. It's on a stool, so that's what came to mind.
Oh, okay.
But it would just be really weird. It's oh yeah, Sony Santa Monica does God of War, but they also make barbecues. It's
That'd be cool.
God
of War barbecue.
A Kratos barbecue. Kratos smoker.
That'd be cool. God of War, who's passed out on the couch right now.
Which obviously that's at a studio, not company-wide level. But I mean, you could say Microsoft does, PC and software, and the Xbox, of course. But they make barbecues too.
Yeah, yeah. What?
That'd be weird. Or they have a Sears-like store. It's that doesn't make any sense. It would be really weird.
Why do you think Sears went out of business? Because it doesn't work.
Even a better analogy would be Ubisoft does Assassin's Creed and all the Tom Clancy games and Rayman and stuff, and they make barbecues. And it just doesn't really make sense.
Quit eyeballing the furniture that we have and saying things. We're looking around.
Keurigs! They make Keurigs!
Oh, yeah. Stump.
No, it is just a weird kind of business structure where they just relied on the other things that seem a little bit more obscure.
I don't know, how popular are Plinko machines?
Very popular in Asian countries.
Not right now.
Well, yeah. Probably not now, no.
Not at this moment.
Weirdly enough, you have a pachinko machine inside your house. But then you're not paying Konami.
Yeah, exactly. You're not paying Konami money.
It is unusual, though. It's just kind of weird, especially for a game company to...
If you're very far to the left.
Yeah, really kind of put all their eggs in their, side basket, and then the thing that they had focused on for so many decades and created all these wonderful characters and IPs, they just don't do anymore.
Yeah, especially Silent Hill.
And chased away all their talent.
That was huge.
Yeah, and
movie-wise and game-wise.
I streamed the original Silent Hill, and that game holds up. It's played the PS1 Classic on the PS3, and it handles pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, it looks pretty good. Like, I mean, that's a game that holds up. So, it is weird that they would stray from these
Stuff
super
like that.
popular IPs that they created.
Well, and then I like the rumor factor that's been spewing out everywhere, though, which is funny enough. Where there were talks after he had done so well. Hideo Kojima had done so well, especially with Death Stranding, that then there, of course, were rumors from Konami about merging, not necessarily back together, but doing a game together.
Yeah, that's a really interesting story. That's kind of like the heart of this podcast, really. So there was a plethora of rumors going around. So
there's always rumors. I mean, it's a gaming world, but
so it kind of started out when Kojima reestablished Kojima Productions with the aid of Sony and launching Death Stranding and all that good stuff, or developing Death Stranding. He left with one of his longtime friends and colleagues who came over with him from Konami.
Yeah.
That individual has since left Kojima Productions. So then the rumors
what does he do?
Started swirling. I can't remember what his position was within Kojima Productions.
No, where did he go?
Oh, I'm not sure what he moved on to.
Oh,
I know he left Kojima Productions, though. I noticed rumors kind of started swirling then. About Hideo Kojima possibly working on a Silent Hill game.
I think people just want another goddamn Silent Hill game.
Probably.
Like, who doesn't?
And then Konami had loaned out the IP to Kojima Productions, and Hideo Kojima really wanted to do Silent Hills to begin with.
Yeah, which stemmed off Death Stranding.
So there was supposedly again behind doors kind of conversations to make this happen, and his longtime friend and colleague that he worked with had a bad break with Konami as well, was as upset with this decision, and that's why he left.
Yeah.
That was the kind of where the basis of all the rumors came from.
Yeah.
The most recent ones, this kind of furthers it a little bit more, have been that Sony was going to purchase all of Konami's major IPs. They were going to purchase Castlevania. They were going to purchase Silent Hill. And then they were going to turn over Silent Hill to Hideo Kojima.
Makes sense.
To make a Silent Hills game. I honestly can't imagine why Konami would sell their IPs.
Yeah, that's
it makes the most amount of sense. Even if you're not going to do anything with it, why would you allow your competitors, if that's a ring you want to enter in eventually...
Yeah, especially if you want to come back to it, you're like, why in the hell would you sell
Now
it?
they're making money off your IPs and you don't have the IP anymore.
You're
kind of SOL, and you only get a one-time payment.
Ancestors buy big buyer's remorse.
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't make as much sense. The rumor that probably has the most kind of credibility is something kind of in between the two of these, where...
In between the two titties.
Sony... is acting kind of as a intermediary between Kojima Productions and Konami, and trying to just use the Silent Hill IP. So I'm sure some sort of contract would be brokered, or they would take a cut of whatever Silent Hill game would come out. And then Sony was going to pass that off to Kojima Productions. And then Hideo Kojima was going to make the Silent Hills game that he wanted to make when he was with Konami. And then it would be a Sony exclusive, and then I'm sure Konami would take a cut.
Yeah.
But it would be kind of a one-shot deal.
Unless
Konami wanted to, re-up because it was super successful. And
kind of give them the availability to either re-up on it, or if they wanted to just do the one-time shot and make the Silent Hills that he wanted with Norman Reedus.
And then maybe Konami could do another Silent Hill game in-house, or go to another studio, or whatever they wanted to do. They would still own the IP. They were just letting Sony use it, and then Sony was going to have Kojima Productions build it, develop the game.
And so
that seems the kind of the most reasonable, if this is
more sense,
gonna pan out as a Silent Hill fan's wet dream.
They're having their cake and eating it too scenario going on there.
Everybody makes money, nobody loses an IP, and everyone gets to create what they want.
That phrase, no one loses an eye. No one loses an IP.
Nobody loses an eye.
It's all fun and games until someone loses an eye.
And the whole world's blind.
An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Get your phrases right, Anthony.
No, that's all one phrase.
You know what? The $10, $15 words coming out now. What are the $15 phrases?
$15 phrases. Yeah, because you combine a $5 word and a $10 word. You portmanteau to $15 phrase.
Exactly.
I like that. That's I portmanteaued a $15 phrase with a $5 and a $10 word.
Nailed it. It's mine. Don't take it.
Already trademarked it.
God damn it.
Already filed the paperwork.
How dare you, you prick? Are you gonna mark that down? Just so we have the phrase of the day.
No.
Oh, my phrase isn't that important.
It's in the podcast. We can listen to it.
That's a lot of work. Oh no! That may or may not have been our dogs in the background, kind people.
Let's get a grab out of me.
Apologies.
Yeah. Our pit bull mix decided to...
jamming in the door.
Get the guns! COVID-19's coming through the door!
The pit bull's going after us! Got one of its crowns!
Yeah.
What's happening?
The COVID tore out my Confederate flag!
Oh, God.
I'm gonna hop in the truck and drive down to the Jiffy Lube.
That's just entire phrase.
I'm sure we insulted so many Americans.
Yeah, we did. The brain's just like, uh-oh, this is bad for the rednecks. They're gonna be mad now.
Yeah, we're northerners, sorry. If it helps at all, like, we're right next door to Idaho.
Oh.
The most northern southern state.
That doesn't help.
Well, not for us, but I mean for them.
Yeah.
Well, that backfired.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
Okay,
backfired.
back to the $15 phrase. Said truck yo, woohoo. Are you gonna end up the dogs barking?
No, probably not.
Prepare for that, folks. Even though it's after the fact.
Yeah,
I'm warning you. Post.
I'll edit this part before. Like, wait, you spent the time editing the part that came after, before the bark, but not the bark out? Bark, bark, bark.
Porgamogorgon. Oh, there's our Demogorgon. With no teeth. Hello, Porgamogorgon. You wiggly little nubbin. You look like a raccoon. Our really ancient dog who's 11 years old.
Yeah. Little min pin.
She's pretty spry, though.
She is spry.
All right, back to what we were saying. $15 word, phrase, crap, words, English.
Well, we talked about that.
Well, I'm talking about after the fact. What else were we talking about? There's things we need to talk about in this podcast. Hence, podcast.
Hence, podcast. Like I said, of those three rumors,
the one in the middle sounds more plausible.
Yeah, Hideo Kojima's colleague leaving because
was kind of ground into that rumor a little bit, not like the
yeah,
whole...
it could have been just he was just done making games. Like, I mean, who knows?
Batman knows, but Batman never tells.
Could have been 1,001 reasons why he left, which are most likely personal to him.
It's not 1,001 Ways to Die.
No, that was a funny game though too. And then yeah, Sony buying all of Konami's like IP seems far fetched.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fucking money.
I'm sure it would, yeah, and then Konami in the back end would be losing a lot of money in the long run.
Yeah, in the long run, they'd get a lump sum, yeah, but then in the long run, once they're making their games and making money off them,
if they ever want to get back into it, they're not going to be able to. It's kind of what it comes down to.
Machines and workout equipment.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pinko machine. You can do it.
You can do it. Yeah, like you said, the middle rumor sounds most plausible that Sony is acting as an intermediary and just kind of brokering a deal. And even then, it's just kind of a rumor. There was just some articles that came out today on March 24th of 2020 that Konami came out and said that all of these rumors were unfounded and they were not working on a Silent Hill game and they were not courting a relationship with Sony and that they were all unfounded. However, in a lot of these same articles, they referenced that just in January, so 3 months ago, Konami was reaching out to like player bases and stuff, like what they would like to see in a new Silent Hill game.
So I feel like that they caught with their pants down and that they were thinking about doing it. That's why they were talking about people in January about it. But then this whole wonderful thing happened of the COVID. Oh, God, I forgot. I'm so fucking tired of hearing it. But happened. So they were able to either pull out or backtrack at least until it was plausible for them to even make a Silent Hill game.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I see too. I don't know if even any of the rumors are true. I do think the, Sony just using the IP is probably the most plausible of them. However, I'm almost 100% sure that Konami was in some capacity working on a Silent Hill game, and then yes, because of the coronavirus,
Shutdown of everything. They're worried that it's not going to be released, especially if they're doing it for a next gen game.
Yeah, and we're kind of in just like uncertain territory here.
We're in limbo.
Yeah, whether these consoles are actually going to come
being
out.
in limbo. It's like the one thing that stems my anxiety is fucking limbo. I either like to know the stress, get done with the stress, or prepare for the stress. Not be like, I'm floating in the air, don't know what's gonna happen.
Everybody's in the same boat, though.
I know we're all in the same. Where I'm a boat. I'm a boat. I'm just saying, for me.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're all in limbo, so they gotta kind of essentially maybe pull out.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows, like, if they're not in a great financial position as far as, like, games development is concerned, maybe any plans they did have are legitimately squashed because it's going to be nigh impossible now to start development.
Yeah.
Just because of everything that's going on in the world. Or maybe they want to keep their cards closer to the vest, so it's kind of a red herring because it's a next-gen title and everyone's kind of unsure whether the PS5 and the Xbox One Series X are actually going to come out at the end of this year.
Yeah.
They've said that they are, but...
Yeah, so hard pressed.
Yeah, I mean, all their manufacturing is in China, and once they gear back up and start kind of producing goods again for the rest of the world, are consoles really going to be a high priority? I'm sure they'll be backlogged with many other more important manufactured goods that need to be done. And also, just the global economy is tanking right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the lowest it's been since the recession in the 80s. It's even lower than it was during, not that low yet, but it's even lower than the recession that we experienced in 2008 with the housing crisis and stuff. So I mean, this is relatively unprecedented. So and now you got to talk about whether you want to or not, Americans purchase the most amount of consumer goods.
Yep.
Especially video games.
Yep.
Like this is the largest market. And if we don't have the money to purchase said possibility of a Silent Hill game or a console for it, nonetheless,
they may hold off on it.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point? You're going to miss out on a majority of your sales because the economy fucking tanked and we don't have any expendable income.
True. In the same breath, though, if you think about it, they might have tanked them with their Plinko machines because no one can play them.
Yeah, and I had to look more into that to see if I could find, like, hard stats on... I've heard that Japan is doing a lot better and that they, cracked down after that cruise ship incident and things like that.
Well, it makes sense.
And that they're already going back to work.
I'm glad that they are.
But I only saw an article on that, so I don't know how founded that is. But yeah, I mean, if they are still suffering in the same way that, we are, a lot of countries in the world are, then yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I would imagine pachinko machine sales are going to tank. Just gambling as a whole is going to tank. And so...
Our vices as a whole will tank.
Yeah, and so maybe they're, what they focused on, they put all their eggs in that kind of side basket with pachinko machines, maybe that's not doing very well. So yeah, they don't honestly have the capital to start a development on a game. Maybe they're just kind of shoring up ranks to make sure that they can weather this storm rather than starting something new, opposed to a game developer, that they're solely invested in that. Their money needs to go to that to further, profit, probably not this year, but, for the future.
Yeah, and that's rough to say. I mean, this thing has definitely taken a toll on many, many, many people and many, many things. And hopefully, we'll definitely jump back from it. But it's just crazy to hear those rumors, essentially, just with Hideo Kojima and Konami and just kind of the tease of it. Because how many people just, like, wet dream it up if a Silent Hill game came out. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I mean, relatively speaking, as a gamer, I'm... and we can actually kind of open this up just to kind of general conversations about, like, horror games and Silent Hill in particular. I'm a neophyte to a lot of these kind of horror franchises. So I didn't start with, like, Resident Evil 1 or Silent Hill. I played them a lot later or after the fact. However, that is one of my favorite genres, and I like that style of gameplay. So I really have enjoyed them, even going back and playing them.
Yeah.
But I think you're absolutely right. Like, I think people would go bananas over a new Silent Hill game, especially one done by Hideo Kojima, Norman Reedus, and Guillermo del Toro.
Oh yeah, that's like the trifecta of the wet dream right there.
Yeah, especially with what even that little vertical slice with PT that they showed the world.
Yeah.
I think it shows a lot of like creativity and passion and a new direction, and it reminds me now of, Resident Evil 7, how that it was kind of a soft reboot of the franchise, and it changed to first person perspective, and it made it really scary, intense. It was a vastly different story, and it was a lot different, but still, canonical. I think it would be really cool if. Yeah, they got another swing at it to do Silent Hill. I'd be excited. I'd buy a day one.
Yeah, especially with Silent Hills, and especially if it was a reboot and their own story on it, which would be really, really cool. Considering the fact that, that's why the PT, playable teaser was there, because it's like, trying to entice you in a new story. And I feel like with that one, they may change it, obviously, if it ever does come out, where it was based off of actual horror, not horror, but murders and stuff like that, and...
Yeah, I mean, it would be super interesting, to see what they do.
What kind of lore do they pull in? What do they do? What do they see? And with me, horror is my shine, it's my thing. I don't like gore. We'll separate that right now. Gore is fucking dumb.
Yeah,
I hate the shock and awe of fucking just gutting somebody and calling it a day.
Yeah, which is very 2000s horror.
Ugh, I hated
that. That was after we were, in our adolescence, really.
Yeah.
We grew up more with, Scream, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. The return of the slasher is what I would say is what we grew up with. And then a lot later, the generation kind of behind us grew up with Saw and stuff like that.
I fucking hate those movies.
And now we're getting back to kind of a new, a psychological horror.
Grudge. Oh, the new Grudge are rebooting in America.
Oh, yeah.
So excited.
Well, I'm excited for Jordan Peele's new movie.
Oh, I know.
He does so many cool things and has really kind of rebranded and brought horror back.
Like Antebellum or Antebellum or something like that. It's like Annabelle, but different.
Oh, yeah. And then James Wan, who does, The Conjuring and Annabelle and all those. I'd say that James Wan and Jordan Peele really have, shifted the tone of what horror movies are and, horror in general is for this generation. And it's something I dig.
Oh, yeah.
And then sandwiched in between, the return of the slasher and whatever this will be named, kind of, is that gore fest stuff, which I don't like either.
No, I just don't like, what was it, the reboot of the Halloween movies were just stupid.
Oh, the Rob Zombie ones and stuff. All the horror movies he did, House of the Dead.
I hate House of the Dead. I hate House of a Thousand Corpses. I fucking hate those movies.
Yeah, House of a Thousand Corpses.
It's I'm sorry, I don't want to just see dead people or people being brutally murdered.
Yeah, very visceral and like you said, shock and awe, gut.
Just guttural, and it's it's fucking, that disgusts me. I hate that.
Yeah, it is, in my opinion, too, just more of a gross factor. I don't really find it scary at all. It's just gross. And I want to be scared.
Scary, the shock, the jump. Oh, God, where that person
jump scares I'm down for if done right. I like that. Psychological horror stuff.
Spooksy ones where shit's moving.
Yeah, give me stuff like that, I'm down. Especially if it genuinely, gets me. A jump scare where you just don't see it coming at all. And you're like, oh, shit. I love that feeling.
Oh, yeah.
And I know people who don't like horror movies or horror games or
anything
horror
like
at all.
Yeah.
Don't like that feeling. Yeah. So that's why they don't like it.
What was the movie you just watched? Dr. Sleep. Oh, that was good.
It was good. That was scary.
Yeah, it was a good jump.
It had scary moments and stuff that you just didn't expect and good jump scares. And,
yeah, it still had blood and stuff in it, but it wasn't
and ghosts.
And to the point where it's ugh,
Yeah, it wasn't over the top. It wasn't focused on that.
Even the newest new Halloween movie with Jamie Lee
Curtis. That was a more return
to
form. That was a great homage to slasher, the original.
Yeah, it was a homage to the slasher. They murdered her dad and people were killed, but it was not fucking the dude slicing his neck open and
where you see every single tendon pop and I don't like stuff like that.
It's disgusting.
And PT was more definitely psychological horror or La Llorona and things like that, and jump scares.
Yeah.
There were some points, that were a little gory or is it going to be gory? But it never was. It was never over the top. It was just the anticipation that it's going to be.
You want to close your eyes, but you want to see it, but okay, it's not. Oh God, there's somebody in the corner. Something
kind
like that.
Resident Evil 7 was just scary. There was some kind of gross stuff.
But eating the bodies, that was gross. But at the same time, it's a zombie thing. So
yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
the only time I think I guess I don't mind gore is when it's a zombie movie. But that just makes sense. There's zombies.
Well, yeah, it fits the theme.
Not
better.
when a human who's like fucking
just crazed. Yeah.
Ugh. Like,
but not the crazies.
Like, I didn't like Leatherface.
That's a good
either,
zombie movie.
Right? I didn't like Leatherface or anything like that.
I didn't like those either.
But no, still.
So I like Silent Hill. Mm-hmm. I find intriguing, and I think it would be a great team to come back and do it. Mm-hmm. I think they would be able to like bring it back just the way that Capcom brought back Resident Evil with 7 and then their remakes that they've done, especially 2.
Yeah, they're very gorgeous.
Trying to think of maybe some others. The other like kind of notable like horror games that I really enjoy have primarily been done by indie developers like Soma and Daylight and things like that. But it would be cool to see kind of like a big company or a big studio do a big horror game.
Yeah.
You know, a la Capcom.
Which would be cool.
Because Capcom's just kind of doing Resident Evil, but I can't think of really other big horror franchises, gaming-wise.
Not right
There's
now.
like survival horror. I mean, you get like Dead by Daylight and stuff.
But those are indie games, and then you do get the Dying Light in that one Man of
Dawn, yeah, Until Dawn before that was definitely scary and interesting and more cinematic.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting.
I mean, we are having people, I guess, do some things, but
not enough. Not enough. We need more scares.
We need more scares. Well, because it's kind of been coming back, and so I think Silent Hill would be a good,
Fat Cat,
especially if done right, would be an awesome, you know, to add to the pantheon of current horror games.
Yeah,
I think that would be awesome.
I also like when a Fat Cat jumps over the gate and her pudge gets stuck.
Sometimes the gate swings open if it's not latched all the way, which is great. And then she panics.
Panic Pudge.
It's also Psyduck, our youngest, well, he's not smallest anymore. Youngest cat, he'll jump on and it'll swing open and he swings with it. Which I love to see because now he's like
9 months old though.
Oh yeah, and he's like adept enough and young enough to like go with it and then he'll dive off, which is super funny.
And then close the gate.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, he'll kick it closed. But it's like he reacts quick enough that he just goes with it.
My fat cat, she's 7 years old and fat as the ball is round, okay? And her pudge gets stuck and then panics.
Well, he's not like Tashi, who waits at the gate for you to open it. And he's a cat.
Big man coon. Can you open the gate, please? You can jump. Open the gate. But, fine.
35-pound cat.
Yep.
He's
all right.
gigantic.
Sir, I think that's coming to a wrap up on our deliciousness here.
Yep.
Any housekeeping?
Housekeeping. So for the last several episodes, we've been talking about merchandise in particular that we are going to have to hold off on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that was something
shock and awe
that we were going to really snap into. This was kind of for the third time behind closed door conversation, but we were going to have that and a Patreon done by the end of April. We will no longer be able to do that. Just because no one has any idea how long this is going to last. And we also... This is not something specifically I've talked about with Ariel, but I know she agrees.
Good, thanks.
Don't want to...
endanger people
or like burden people for money, you
know,
if it was everyone was kind of doing well off and this wasn't a thing, and then you had a couple extra bucks to throw our way, we would gladly take it and do more content and make sure that we used it wisely.
Right now, our content's gonna be free and for you to enjoy. Something that needs to be there to take your mind off things, to enjoy our banter, to enjoy your playing games, watch Anthony die. Did you die? And have a break.
Yeah, and that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be escapism, and we don't
need profit. Psh, we ain't doing it for profit right now, anyways.
Yeah, exactly. We'll make a little bit here and there, but not a lot.
We'll make money when we make money. The whole point is we're doing what we love. That's a whole big difference here, folks.
Yeah, so that'll be postponed. So if you were looking forward to like T-shirts or extra content and stuff, it's gonna be a while. We're gonna have to kind of wait. However, another a good announcement, I guess, would be check out our last podcast episode.
Yeah, it was a specialty podcast. We finally got our first...
Episode 24 and a half.
Yep, got our first
review
copy.
Yeah.
And actually rolled out our first grading system, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So if you guys didn't know, we didn't have a lot of lead time to discuss it in prior podcasts because it happened in between... last episode of this episode.
Yeah, pretty much. And then it had the embargo on it, too, so...
Yeah, and so we couldn't, outright discuss it. However, we did a podcast about it. The game we reviewed is Twin Breakers, a Sacred Symbol adventure. It's by Lilymo Games, and by personally one of my favorite podcasters and just kind of internet personalities, Colin Moriarty and Chris Raygun.
Yep.
And this is their first game. And so we were fortunate enough to get a review copy of it. So we got a digital code sent to us. And so we did our own podcast, episode 24 and a half, which is the very last episode. All about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we kind of loosely did a review on air and chatted about it, things we liked about it, whether it would resonate with people in our generation or younger or older, things like that. History of brick breakers even. And then I also did an accompanying written review, which you can check out at ASInquisitor.wordpress.com. And then we did a Let's Play of it, which is on YouTube.
Yep.
Which you can watch kind of an hour of gameplay.
Yeah, we'll bust out more too.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's on YouTube, and it's live right now as well. And we're at ASInquisitor on YouTube as well. But long story short, we want to, and we will hopefully be doing more reviews of games.
Which will be awesome.
Yeah. So we're going to try to get a hold of review copies when we can.
Yep.
Probably smaller indie things for a long while.
Yeah.
And, we'll do what we can with that. Periodically we'll be dropping extra content and be doing reviews. And I'm going to try to hit the trifecta for all of them.
Which will be cool.
I'm going to do a Let's Play podcast and a written review.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
All right, kind sir. I think that's everything. Again, I'm Ariel Schultz.
I'm Anthony Schultz.
As always, follow the bear.
Follow the bear.
Follow the bear.
I give this podcast 4 bear paws out of 5.
I give this podcast 3 bear paws out of 5.
Whoa.
I'm dropping it low, yo. No, I'm kidding.
Now it's a 3.5 bear paw out of 5? That's sad. That's like a 70%.
Hey, that's
70% of a bear paw. How many toe beans is that? My head!
Yeah, you broke my brain. I don't know, folks. Tell me how many toe beans.
3.5 toe beans.
Shut up.
Okay.
I hate you. All right, bye, folks.
Peace. Hey there, guys. This is Anthony Schultz, one half of the duo for Rage Quit. I just wanted to spend a minute or two, at most, talking about Ariel and I's other endeavors or where you can follow her and I if you're a fan of this podcast. So, I'm most prolific on Twitter as far as social media is concerned. I share more kind of gut reaction or like private experiences and opinions there. I'm at Anthony R. Schultz. Pretty easy to remember, just my name. And if you'd be so inclined, you can give me a follow, and I also drop Rage Quit links there every week. And other things that Ariel and I are both working on. ASInquisitor also streams, which is the production company that produces Rage Quit, essentially myself at the moment. And I stream 5 days a week. I'm a variety streamer, so I do a little bit of everything. Hopefully, there's something there that you would really enjoy, even if it's just 1 day a week. I take every Thursday and Friday off, and you can follow and or subscribe at twitch.tv/ASInquisitor. All these links that I'm mentioning will be in the description box below, and I will reiterate. Also, ASInquisitor has a YouTube channel. So if you're not listening to this podcast via YouTube, if you're using your preferred podcast provider, this podcast does make its way to YouTube. We will eventually be recording not only our voices, but also ourselves when we do the podcast. We're just working on some equipment issues right now. But we also have past streams that I've done for ASInquisitor that have a little bit more kind of polish or pizzazz to them. They're divided up into like better bite-sized chunks for complete game playthroughs or Let's Plays. There's also a lot of unique content there. I record things throughout the week as I play games, just kind of funny moments or maybe even like personal achievements, things of that nature. And so you can search for ASInquisitor on YouTube. And again, the link will be in the description below. But those are my three kind of primary platforms that you can find me on. So that's Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. Ariel actually has her own YouTube channel called Painting with LM Schultz. She's a very talented painter. She has her fine arts degree and enjoys painting for cathartic reasons, as well as to improve on her like technical prowess. So she started her own YouTube channel to improve on her techniques, as well as show people kind of some basics or things that you can do painting wise. There's also some other kind of crafty do-it-yourself kind of ideas and videos on there as well that pertain a little bit more personally to her and I, because they usually involve our family. It's a family project that she's working on. For example, she did our son's Halloween costume, and so she walked through how she constructed and created, the costume, and how you could do something similar for your kiddos at home. And then finally, you can follow Ariel on Twitter as well. She is primarily on Twitter, just like myself. We don't really indulge in too many other social media platforms, save for maybe Instagram. I don't think we're as active on there. Ariel might be, more so than myself. But you can follow her at Merhobbit and give her a follow as well. That's my lovely co-host and beautiful wife, Ariel. But anyways, I just wanted to stop in and kind of throw some links your way. And if you were curious about what ASInquisitor was doing and how Rage Quit kind of fit into that ecosystem, there it is. Yeah, got all the links for you. If you're interested in any one of those, all of those links are going to be in the description box below, and they're going to be in every podcast episode now. So I'm not sure if they're entirely there right now, but I'm going to be doing a fresh write-up and make sure and have all of those included for you. So just click a link or copy and paste and head on over if any of those strike your fancy. But anyways, thanks for enjoying the show. Really appreciate it. We'll be back next week for more rage quittiness. And as always, follow the bear. And have a good evening, guys.